I feel their pain.
I look at my mom and my dad. I cry.
America has marked to a big, huge mess of land. Tokelau is the only tiny little rubbish floating in the ocean. We need our part.
What I would like the United States to do about Olohega is to return it to its rightful owner.
They're talking about Olohega, also known as Swains Island. It lies around 200 kilometres north of Samoa and just south of Tokelau. It's under 2 kilometres square and only a handful of people currently live there.
Ko te laukelekele, mānaia te laukelekele. Mānaia, ola lelei nā lakau kaina. Ko iei hoki te whenua taingole, he motu e tū te namo, I loto te namo. Kai nā mea uma, mānaia te whenua.
This tiny island is at the heart of a dispute between a community who claim historical and cultural ties and a family whose American ancestor bought it from an English sea captain called Turnbull. The South Pacific, 1856. American whaler Eli Jennings arrived on Swains Island. He'd paid 15 shillings an acre and a bottle of gin for this piece of paradise, a purchase that would have far-reaching implications for generations of Tokelauans. In 1925, because of the family's American connections, the island was annexed to the United States of America, even though neighbouring Tokelau has always viewed Olohega as one of its own. Tokelauan elder Waia Yahona worked for the Jennings family on their coconut plantation in the 60s. He says the family and their descendants should never have made claim to the island.
Nā tino I e nā noho mua I Olohega. Nā tino Tokelau, nā noho tautuku te kelekele, ma te whenua. Aua he whenua o Tokelau. Kai e iei hoki nā taimi, tohi ai nā tino mai hoka aho ke olo, ke hiaki I Olohega pe lelei nā tino e no noho ai pe lelei hoki te whenua.
Waia also says Olohega was used to grow extra food for the other 3 islands of Tokelau before Europeans arrived.
Te whenua haka mua, he mea haka tahi e te nuku. He mea haka whenua haka mua e toto ai nā mea umarele. Tau toka tahi nā tino.
Waia says other evidence Tokelauans used the island include a symbolic monument.
Yes, we saw them. Our dad took us there. He showed us that we call it tupua.
Ni whatu whakailonga ai. E tālehanga haina te talo ki te whatu tēnā.
Similar stones can also be found on each of Tokelau's 3 main islands, showing the close links Olohega had with the rest of Tokelau.
E tui hoa ho te whatu lahi, ka rona whatu wēnā hui a tahunu punonu a tahu.
However, Tokelauans' claim to Olohega was about to become even more disputed. In 1980, New Zealand and the USA were negotiating a maritime boundary through Tokelau and Olohega. They were both partners to the Tokehenga Treaty, which also signed away Tokelau's rights to Olohega. Opeta Wharaimo was working in Tokelau's government office at the time of the treaty signing. He says he remembers an unusual event on the day the American ambassador to New Zealand came to Tokelau to sign the Tokehenga Treaty.
First one, the pen doesn't work. Second one, doesn't work. And the lady put on the paper, yes, works. You come. And the next one, and no, the pen's not working. The last pen, the lady started to get furious, angry. And, see, it's working. And then the interpreter explained that it is something hard to explain. Our tupunas already passed away. They're not happy. They're not happy in the idea.
Opeta says many Tokelauans were upset the treaty was signed. It would increase the US's economic zone in the waters around Tokelau. Tokelauans would lose their claim to the island.
They're very, very furious of to see a land of the Tokelau's has been taken away. And they just realized after signing the Tokelau that they made a mistake.
He says there was talk of coercion, that Tokelauan signatories felt pushed by New Zealand into signing.
Well, some people that they signed, the same day they come out, that they're still arguing. They're still arguing about the people who signed the... I told him in the office, how stupid you are when you sign it. Why don't you give New Zealand to sign it? The Palangi told me to sign it. New Zealand want the document signed. Well, then let them sign it. No, don't be stupid. I told them in their face that you are signing on behalf of your family, not Tokelau as a whole.
While the representatives for Tokelau's 3 islands signed the treaty, it was missing the voice of one island, the people of Olohega. Waia says his brother watched the signing from outside the meeting house.
Kakoia, gua tu kai malingi ona loi mata tēnā hawi te tarana hai mai tō taina hai mai tau nā tawa kako go malingi hoki o kuloi mata i te aloha i te he malamalama nā toi aina i te kuaolo lava haini.
Hawaii 2008. It's nearly 60 years since this small community from Swains Island or Olohega were told to leave their island. Now most of them live in Hawaii, unable to return.
In the beginning, we really feel sorry about it because there's no other place we know where to go.
Millie Terrell was in Olohega the day her family and other residents were evicted by one of the Jennings family who claimed to own the island. Eli Jennings ran the island's coconut plantation and there'd been a standoff between the workers.
It was a build-up. There was all of this tension building up, all of this abuse of labor practices, abuse of, basic human rights.
They were very unhappy about the working conditions. Some were complaining about the pay.
The workers, upset with what they say was a tyrannical ruler, protested by signing a petition.
Yeah, unfortunately for the protesters and the ones who signed this petition, they were eventually evicted from the island.
The owner of the island said, everybody got to start living now. There is the boat, the ship in the harbor, so you folks have to ready. By tomorrow morning, everybody got at the boat going to leave. So I told my parents, well, what can we do? We were raised up in Olohega or Swains Island. That's all we know. I look at my mom and my dad. I cry. So everybody packed and, cry and they don't know where to go. So we all went to Samoa. Everybody went on the same ship.
They landed in American Samoa. There was nothing prepared for them. No one at the wharf to look after them, pick them up or take them to where they're supposed to go. No lodging, no housing, nothing. They come from a society where they grow food and they fish and they have land to grow their crops to live on. And then coming to American Samoa with a monetary system, yeah, that was really tough for them.
Nathan's father was sent to Hawaii in the late 50s and saw an opportunity for his people.
Dad went to school in Hawaii at one point, and when he was there, the pineapple industry was flourishing. So he decided with his brothers and sisters that Hawaii is probably a better choice. Better education, there's more opportunity, and then they can own properties and things like that. He and his brother started working a pineapple field, and this was late 50s, early 60s. And that's how our family started migrating to Hawaii. What hurts a lot is when you actually have uncles and aunts reminiscing about home, when they start talking about the different areas of Olohena, Taulanga, and where they would go fishing and where they would grow their crops. And there's a sense of home to them that they could only talk about and only dream about, but couldn't go back to. I feel their pain. I feel their hurt. I mean, being driven off from their God-given land by some people's authority who don't have really the authority to drive them out of their own land. And because it's recorded in the court of law, whose law? That it belongs to a certain family and it belongs to a certain country, then what is to become of the rights of the native owners? You know, the culturally, historically, the people that were there prior to colonialism coming in. That's where it hurts.
I think it's a crime if they can't return to their island.
This community from Swains Island or Olohega were forced to leave their home almost 60 years ago. They were evicted by the Jennings family, a family who say they own the island because their ancestor bought it around 150 years ago. Here the Jennings enjoy a family holiday to the island, something those who were kicked off can only dream about as they're unable to freely return.
He claimed the island of Olohega, which is a Tokelau island, and he put the American flag on it. And really, to me, that was absolutely wrong.
Tokelauan artist Opetaya Fuai and his band Te Waka met with the Olohega community. Most of them have resettled in Hawaii.
Talking to the old people about Olohega was, you know, it was an honor.
Why did you move out of Olohega? I don't know why.
That was 1953.
They've got issues connected with being evicted, as anybody would, you know. I can sense, you know, I can feel what they were feeling. They've approached the Jennings family to ask to start a discussion on the return of the island of Olohega from America back to where it belongs, which is Tokelau, and they were refused. So I thought, well, to help them along, I would write a song that would and create some sort of movement. the main focus of the song was to ask the Jennings family to do the right thing, and that is to return the island to its rightful owner, Tokelau. The island of Olohena right now, I think it only has about 12 people on it. You know, you might as well say none. So this is the perfect time for the Jennings family to do the right thing. Return the island to its rightful owner.
Waia's memories of the island are still strong today, as is his wish to return.
Doi hia hano koe ki o Olohena?
Ia, o koaue hia toi pā ki Olohena. Kai hai e o lau, kai heki mate. Nā e noho ai, na ka mata mai ai te tātou ka inga hoki.
Waia's grandchildren also long to see the island of their heritage.
Ma te maho anau.
We've, been to Tokelau and seen that side, but would also like to one day go to Olohena and see how it was there, because we've heard the stories.
I would go tomorrow. Yeah, if it opens up, if it was given back to Tokelau, yeah, the very first opportunity, I would go.
However, it looks like the path to get to Olohena will be a difficult one.
There's talks that I hear from that family that no one is allowed to go to Olohena. Supposedly because it's allegedly it's a family-owned private island that they do not allow anybody to go there without their permission, I guess.
We asked Alexander Jennings, who represents Swains Island in the American Samoa legislature, for his views on ownership and access to the island.
I don't want to put any fuel on the fire. The only thing I can say, I'd have to defer any comment on ownership to the State Department. Anybody can, they can ask me anything they want, and I'll be glad to talk to them.
But Tokelau's government is unlikely to begin talks about returning Olohena anytime soon. The head of Tokelau says the issue of Olohena is not on Tokelau's agenda at this time. He says they want to handle the issue sensitively, especially in regards to their relationship with New Zealand. Historian Betty Iki says as long as New Zealand is the administrator of Tokelau, it will be hard for them to make moves to get the island back. She believes there's a case for Olohena to be taken to the International Court of Law, and it's from the grassroots community where change will come.
What I want to see happen is that justice is done, meaning that Olohena is awarded to its rightful owner, the owners who were there before colonialism, before Jennings arrived. I would like to see the island of Olohena given back to Tokelau.
Despite being displaced from their island, the Olohena community in Hawaii is determined to keep their identity and culture alive.
I walk, I live, I eat, I breathe, I sleep Tokelau. I dance Vatele, dance Ivahaka, dance the Hawaii with passion. Our children, we teach them our Tokelau-ness. Teach them that there's 4 islands. Teach them everything that we've learned from our ancestors.
Whichever way you look at it, it belongs to Tokelau. I know at the moment it belongs to, on paper, it belongs to the Jennings family, the USA. But yeah, historically and realistically, truthfully, it belongs to the island of Tokelau.
hakapā atu ai. Ke angina hoku leo vai. E he matangi. E malu. Ka e kikini. Ko e nā pūti. E tohi o tātou. Ko e nā pūli. Ni iwi. Ni kakano. E o tātou na tohi mai ai. I tātou. I o tātou tupuna. Nā he motu hakauka. Motu. He ika motu I te moana. Nā langona hoki. He leo. Nā muhu atu ai. Tō tupuna ki te koe. E o koe.